And boom. Day 2. Already making good progress on the truck here. Let's dive right in, take a look, and see what I've gotten done so far. All right, first order of business on day 2 was removing the core support. Like I said, I have a brand new one ready for the truck, and my radiator, my cooling system, the way it's set up in the Bronco is already designed to fit within that, so I'm not even going to mess around and use this cut up one here. So I went ahead, cut out all the spot welds, and removed the core support. Rest of the truck, everything here is still in great shape. And starting to do a little bit of paint touched up all the edges where I drilled out the spot welds. Back side here, started painting everything gloss black. I'm going to clean up the engine compartment. Everything in here is going to get painted gloss black. I got to blow out the cowl for all the rest of the pine needles and stuff. The little plates for the wiper mechanisms, I got those repainted. So you can see how still had a lot of the original color still on here. Got a lot of more of the interior pulled out, wiring, starting to pull the dash back out of it. Back glass is out, all the factory seat belts are out, all that crap is gone. Pulled out the shifter mechanism that was in the floor for that divorce transfer case deal. So that's all out of my way now. And I've picked up, this is actually from one of my old trucks from my buddy Eric, a Gen 1 dash that has wiring, fuse box, some of the heater stuff. I still need an internal heater box. I'm gonna have this first gen, and I'm gonna pick up a whole bunch of second gen stuff. I'm gonna lay everything out. I'm gonna decide which parts or combination of the parts that I'm going to use to go back into this truck. So this dash here, buddy Roger built all this. Super clean. I like the amount of flat real estate it gives. It's gonna work out. It would work out really, really well. My speed hut gauges, maybe a couple switches over there for the headlights. My 7-inch touchscreen display for the Raspberry Pi. On the top there, I'm gonna get another 67 design rail mount, they call it, so I'll have phone mounts for driver and passenger. They won't have to go on the dash. Plenty of room for the switch panels for the lights and my little radio deal. Just real estate for days to do what I want. Not to mention here, this kind of lends itself nicely for the kind of center console I want to make for mounting the shifter to. I really, really like the Gen 2 dashes, but they don't have speakers in the dash like these do. I don't want to put speakers in the doors because I would like to have tube doors eventually on this. So I don't want to have to take the doors off and then I don't have any tunes. So I can put speakers in the dash, maybe shove a couple back here in the corners or something. And the way the dash is laid out on the bottom, you know, I would have more gauges and stuff down there. The heater controls, which I wouldn't be able to do what I want with the center console. So I'm really leaning towards just keeping this dash and working with this and combining it with a bunch of as much of the factory stuff components as I can. So, oh, also, and I got good news from PRP Seats. My custom suspension seats have shipped out and will be here in a few days. So maybe they will make it into this video, depending on how much I cram into this. Okay, so I got the reinforcement plates all welded on to the cab mounts. Just gonna go ahead and hit them with some fresh paint after I clean up some stuff here. These will be much stronger than the rusted and thinned out cab mounts there, and plus they're gonna provide like another whatever 1/16 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, whatever lift. So there's the stock size body bushings and then 1-inch solid aluminum pucks. So it'll, let's call it like a inch and an eighth probably body lift. So got all that done. So next I got to go on and the remnants of the old shock mounts that were on here, I'm going to go ahead and grind all those off. And I got a couple other spots in the frame, some other little pieces I'm going to weld smooth. And I hit a couple spots in the frame. Looked like there was a little bit of rust starting underneath the coat of paint that was on it. So I'm going to knock most of this down and then just hit it with some new chassis black. And then we'll just leave it there and go from there, I guess. So anyway, that part is done. And there's probably one of many coats of paint that'll end up going on here. So we're done up to here anyway. Plates are all welded on. Everything's cleaned up on the exterior of the frame rails. Some fresh paint on it. So now got to get these motor mount pads cut off. Get back down to the original cross member portion. Make sure I got my holes and everything there to line up the V8 motor mounts that I got to put on here. So pretty good. Pretty happy with this so far for today. I'm not going to go crazy with this because there's still many more things. Rock sliders, the bed cage, the EXO. A lot more things are going to get welded to this though. But this is just to get a good solid coat on there for now. Cover up the rust. So we're good. And moving on to the core support part of the job. What I went and did was I put 1/4-20 nut certs all in the fender aprons here. I'll drill the holes through the core support for these. Also the part for the battery tray. Put them in there. And then these two up top here, the nut certs will actually go in the top of the core support. So they'll bolt down there. So the core support will be removable. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna put it in, and I'm gonna go ahead and get all my headlights and all that stuff figured out. Because I'm changing up the headlights. But I want to be able to take the core support back off the truck, because I think what's going to happen is all the drivetrain is going to go in the chassis, so I can figure out motor mounts, transmission cross member, driveline angle, all of that stuff. And then once the chassis work is done, I want to be able to take the cab and basically walk it on from the rear of the truck chassis, walk it forward, and then just set it in place right up against the motor, so we don't have to lift the cab over the whole intake manifold and everything. We'll just walk it on from the back. So I think that's the plan there. Okay, so I got the core support all ready, so it can be bolted back on again. I use 1/4-20 nut certs in the front of the aprons on both sides. These will make it real nice. Some nice button head cap screws in there. Battery tray, there's 4 holding that. So I think that's going to be plenty to attach the core support. Core support, it just came with that black E coating on it, so I went ahead and put a good heavy dose of some better paint over top of it. Got to flip it, do the other side. I put a nut cert here and one on top as well. So there's a couple nut certs in the core. The rest of it, all these holes here, those will all be cap screws holding it on. Went ahead and I pulled all the rest of the wiring out of my way, except for the wiper motor still on. That's the headlight harness that was in the truck. I'm going to leave it attached for now, because I might go ahead and just use it, because I like how simple it is. It's already loomed, and when I do the wiring in the dash, I can just go ahead and tap into that wiring on the other side of the firewall. So I might keep all that. And then on this side, there's already a nice heavy gauge 12 volt wire that was hooked to the battery solenoid that ran into the cab. I'm going to try to retain that too, because that'll work good for powering up my switch panels and stuff. So I'm going to get all this cleaned up, get all the dust and dirt and grease off everything, and we're going to get a couple good coats of some gloss black on all of this. and then the engine compartment will basically be done, other than I have to get the pattern for the holes that I got to drill in that panel there for the heater box. So okay, there's one coat of the gloss black for the engine compartment, and I ran out, so I got to go get more. But that's basically how she should look. I like it. We got one little, I'm going to have to cut out, small little spot here, a little bit of rust starting. I'll cut that out, patch it. And then I already do have the color for the truck. I have the paint, all the supplies, everything's already here. So I'm going to be cutting in all the door jambs, and I'm going to paint the entire interior after I pull the rest of the dash out. And I will get all of that painted body color. So I will reveal that part later. But I'll let this dry up, and I will get some more paint, and I'll get a second coat on here in a minute. Okay, so I got two good coats of gloss black on everything on the engine compartment. 2 coats of gloss black on the core support. All my nut certs are in. I got some stainless cap screws I'm going to use for now. I got some black ones on order. They're just not here yet. So I'm going to put it together with a few of these to hold it together. Then I can go ahead and finish routing the wiring for all the lights. And then I'm going to do the round headlight conversion. So let's go ahead and get this up in place and see how it fits. So we're going to these go under, like so. There's that. Everything lines up again. Top one lines right up. Here. Right up. Get these top ones, that'll get it sucked up where it should be here. We'll need some washers for these eventually. But for now, side. It's lining up good. Alright, top 4 lined up perfectly, so just got to do the ones around the front here and the battery tray. So, alright, core support is now bolted on. So we have these cap screws. These are all stainless I got a package of black grade 10 on the way. I may replace them one at a time once that bag comes in, but there it is. That should be more than enough to hold the core support on there. So, all nice and shiny brand new. Oh yeah, battery tray. If you can see, there's 4 more bolts holding the battery tray to the core over there as well too. So, that part is done. She looks like new again. Love it. So I just popped in the J-clips from the old core support, put in all new plastic inserts for all the grill screws, busted out the new black grill, and digging around in my basement, I actually found this little custom Ford badge that I had on my white turbo truck that absolutely has to go on this truck, going with the whole theme of the Mutt. So definitely going to be rocking the old white Ranger, the turbo badge there. So that's awesome that I found that. That's really cool. Stupid, but I know it means a lot to me. So starting to kind of look like a truck again. All right, I got the cab wiring routed back how it, well, kind of how it was when I got it anyway, but all the lights, well, there's all the sockets for all the lighting. Like I said, I'm going to try to retain that nice clean little harness there that's got all the wiring for the lights and the horn all in that little harness there. The only other things I'd have to tap into on this side would be for the washer fluid pump, the wiper motor there, the wiring's there for that. And there's not going to be a whole lot. I mean, I have my electric vacuum pump for my brakes. It'll be over here mounted somewhere. So, and then the lighting. So I'll probably make a separate wire harness for all the auxiliary stuff, so to speak. And on this side, I kept that nice thick power cable that goes through the firewall. Got that hooked back up. That'll be perfect for powering up my power distribution block and fuse block inside the truck. All the grounds for the light harness, everything's hooked up. Got that just kind of zip tied up out of the way until I figure out when I get the radiator and the shroud and the fan, everything all mounted in here, so that might change. But nice and clean, looks really good. Very happy so far. So now it's just getting the core modified for the round headlights, which I'm really excited to see on this truck. Never seen anybody do a first gen Ranger with the headlight mod, so let's see what that looks like. All right, and like I said earlier in the video, I was hoping, and they did. The new seats showed up. The new PRP suspension seats, all custom made. Oh boy, I am so happy to see these here. So cool. So these are their daily driver series seats. This one here is a driver seat. I had this one built 2 inches wider. Cost a couple extra dollars to get them a wider seat. I'm glad I did. Sitting in it, it feels really good. Passenger seat, I left the standard size. I thought I was going to be more cramped inside the interior, so I didn't want to go with 2 extra wide seats. I figured I'll just do the standard one on the passenger side, and then the big dog for the big dog. And turns out I would have had more than enough room for both wide seats, and I'm going to have room for more of a center console than I thought I would too. So that's cool. So what these are, they got the black vinyl with the red piping. In the center is their suede material. So provide a little bit of extra, traction. Not going to be sliding around in them too much. And then I had them built, these little, they call them goggle pouches anyway, but I figure since a standard cab Ranger, I'm not going to have a glove box in the dash. So I figured these are going to be perfect for us for dropping our phones in, our wallets in, extra keys. There's one on each seat, so just a little. I mean, honestly, that one pouch probably holds more than the factory Bronco 2 or Ranger glove box does, and each seat has one. So honestly, it's like double the storage space in the dash compared to what the Bronco had. So that's cool. And they're non-recliners. They're fixed backs. So just super simple, and they are light as all hell. I'll bet the Mustang seats in the Bronco 2 right now are double, maybe triple the weight of these things, honestly. So that's super nice. You know, being that this is a truck that's going to be on a big tire, but on not big axles. Weight is still a conscious thing for me. I'm trying to keep this build as light as possible. If I can do something out of a lighter material, that's what I'm going to do. And if it doesn't need to be on the truck, it ain't going to be on the truck. So anyway, very happy. The PRPs are here. So that little rusty spot that was right there, I ended up cutting that out, welded in a patch panel, and I just covered it all in some seam sealer to seal it all off. I just kind of spot welded it. It's not completely welded on, so just sealed it all off with the seam sealer. So that little spot is now all repaired, so we're good to go there. Something else I did, I've done on the last couple trucks anyway. I don't know if you can see in here. Well, I guess can't really see a lot of it, but that blue right there, that's a flowable seam sealer I get from Eastwood, and what I do is I pump it down in the cowl vents and in through there, and I let it just kind of self-level, and it finds its way into the little valley where the pinch weld is, where these things always rust out and water, you know, will drain inside the cab and then rot out your floorboards. So I always put a tube of that in there and just kind of let it self-level inside the cowl, right in that low spot where the firewall and the cowl are spot welded together from the factory, and it'll fill it all in, and hopefully forever I don't have any water problems getting into the truck. So, oh, and how does that look? There we go. There they are. It's kind of mocked up in there. I'm on the hunt for some extended cab Ranger or Bronco 2 seat tracks and sliders. I totally forgot. I also subscribe to follow Chris at Reckless Wrench, his YouTube channel. He's got a pretty cool Ranger Truggy that goes way back. But 3 years ago, he put similar PRPs in his Ranger, and I had completely forgot about it because I watched it. It's been so long ago. But just doing a little searching on YouTube today for harnesses, I ran across his video and I saw how he mounted his PRP seats to a set of factory sliders. So I'm pretty much going to copy what Chris did. Thank you. So, you know, why reinvent the wheel? If it works, it works. So, yeah, I like them. They look really good here. There's the passenger seat. That's the standard width, and this is the extra wide one for me. I ended up with a lot more room between the seats than what I thought, and that was the reason why I only went with one wide seat, because I thought it would get kind of tight in between here, but boy was I wrong. I know they're not you know, perfectly straight, but still there's enough room for I could have went wide on both seats and still have room for a decent little center console there. So that's gonna work out really good. I'm stoked over this, man. And from here you can see obviously the dash is completely out now. I removed all of the other wiring from the truck. Only thing I left over here, that is all that's the light harness that goes basically from the dimmer out into the engine compartment. So when I put the new dash in with all the new wiring, I'll just tap into that because it's a nice clean harness. It's already ran and routed, and it's already kind of pared down to the bare minimum stuff. So I'll keep all that as is. This side here, that's that power cable that's basically going to provide a decent power source for me to hook up a fuse box, run like all my switches and everything. So I'll have a good power source in the cab. Back here on the back wall of the cab, there will be small amplifier. There'll be a couple speakers back here. So yeah, I'll have to tap into that power to hook up to the amp back here. It'll be mounted on this back wall. And the other thing I got to figure out is so with the PRP seats, obviously I'm going with a set of, I'm either going to run the PRP 4-points in this, or I see RJS. They have a 4-point harness. I'm not sure which one I'm going to go with. But either one, I need an attachment point for where the shoulder straps go. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to put in some kind of bar that will weld to the actual cab itself. Maybe it's got to be below my shoulder, so probably from right here across that back wall, and that'll give me a nice attachment point for the shoulder straps on the harnesses. So I'm going to figure out something with that. I'm either going to weld it in, or since the bottom corners here, I took out all the factory seatbelt mechanisms, there is a nice little sturdy bracket, and it's got the attachment points that were for the factory seatbelts. I may make something that just bolts in, that attaches to that factory point, and it would bolt in down here, and then just a bar plate that would come up, and then the bar across. So I could do something like that, something that just bolts in. I don't know, we'll see what I do. But now I'm basically at the point, the interior is gutted. I'm going to start prepping the whole inside of this for paint. I need the whole inside painted body color. I'm going to cut in all the door jambs, rockers, get all of that done. All the A-pillar, I'll get all this painted the same color the truck's going to be on the outside. And that way, you know, whatever exposed metal you see from no trim, because like I said, I don't think I have any plastic trim for the B-pillars or on the back window or nothing like that. So that's just going to be all exposed metal. So I want it to look good. We'll get a nice matching color on it, and we will go with that. So, and here is the bones of the dash are now out of the truck. So this is what I'm going to work with here. I'm going to clean all this up, put some more nut certs in, and instead of that spun aluminum panel that was on here with the gauges and everything, I'm going to use that black textured ABS plastic. I think it'll look a lot better, look maybe a little more modernized with that texture. It'll be non-reflective, and I'll be able to mount my speakers in here. The top there, it's got some holes that were drilled for something else at one time. I think I'm gonna get one of them Studio 67 or 67 design phone mounts to mount up there. Then I'll paint all this up and make it look pretty, and we'll get her back in. I'll make another little plastic filler piece here to cover all this, also with the textured plastic, so you can kind of see you can see all through here when you open the door. So I'll fill all that in, make a nice little plastic panel that matches. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm going to work with this. And another part I've been waiting for, ordered from Wild Horses, this Advanced Adapters 32 spline Dana 20 output housing. This is going to be a huge upgrade for my Dana 20. The thinking is, right now, ordering a Atlas transfer case, I've been told between 20 and 26 week wait to get an Atlas, and you're talking at least $2,800, at least at the time that I called them to get one ordered, and I just can't afford to take $2,800 from this project that's basically going to be sitting for 6 months before I get the part that I need. So what I decided to do was I'm going to upgrade the Dana 20. This is the factory weak link in the Dana 20 box, because it's only a 10 spline factory output. So this is going to upgrade it to a 32 spline, and at the same time upgraded to a 1350 output flange. So now when I'm building the drive shafts for the Truggy, I can go ahead and I will take off the 1310 yoke on my rear 9-inch, and I'll upgrade it to a 1350 yoke, and I'll be able to build a 1350 rear shaft for the Truggy. And the additional length that this adds to the to my Dana 20 is going to make it match just about exactly to an Atlas. So when I finally do drop the money for upgrading to an Atlas, we're not going to have to change anything else on the truck as far as drive shafts or anything else. It's going to bolt up basically exactly the same. So just kind of thinking ahead. I know it's some people have questioned why I would put this kind of money. This is like a $400 part, $450, whatever, into a Dana 20. I've yet to hurt a Dana 20, and this basically eliminates the weak link in it. Yeah, I would like to have a lower low gear ratio, but for now, this is going to be fine. This will make that Dana 20 a little bit more valuable in the future when I do decide to pull it out and get rid of it and pass it on to somebody else. So I'm fine with that. And the stroker motor in the truck makes more than enough low-end power to where I've even taken Gilligan out cruising around a little bit on the 39s on it, and the same 456 gearing in the axles, and I can't tell any difference between the 39s and the 37s that I took off. The truck's just got gobs of power, so I'm not worried about needing some 500 to 1 crawl ratio in this thing. I think it'll be just fine for what I like to do anyway. So there we go, another piece of the puzzle. All right, so like I said before, I was going to try to keep these videos coming quicker and shorter. So I know I didn't get the headlights in it yet. Not a big deal. There's literally 2 other videos on my YouTube channel on how to do the round headlights. So I don't think I'm going to go into too much detail on how to install those. There's plenty of videos of that out there. So I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. I think it's pretty good progress. This is, you know, I've been working on off and on for the last week since the last video. Just acquiring parts and building up the stock of everything I need to put this thing together. So it's going pretty quick, I think, so far. So gonna go ahead and get this interior get the seats back out of here, get everything cleaned up, prep everything, and I'm gonna go ahead and start painting and cutting in everything on the inside of the truck. So I think that's what I'm gonna do next. So that'll probably be the next video. So that's it for this one. I appreciate you watching. If you like it, you know, share it, like it, whatever, comment, and we'll hopefully see you on the next one. And thanks again. Appreciate it.